The other team is more than 7 players.
Yeah. Are you commentating? Yeah. Sorry, I can't hear shit right now. We are here live for the BUCS quarterfinals. UEL versus Newcastle. Ava with the first serve puts Newcastle out of system. Tip, and Newcastle scores. Beautiful kill for UEL. Emily up to serve. Nice system slide from Newcastle, dug by Bree. Emily puts it up for McKenna. Nice roll shot over. Middle. Kept in play. Newcastle to their outside and scores. Newcastle serving. Nice pass from McKenna. Your patience in the middle. Get a free ball back. To Claire. Recycled. Newcastle keeps the ball in play. Goes for three contacts. Blocked by Patience. McKenna back to serve. Nice short serve, puts Newcastle out of system. Outside swings wide. Point for UEL. McKenna serving again. Good pass from Newcastle. Slide off the block. Newcastle serving. out of system for UEL. Keep tucked in play. Newcastle goes to their outside. Blocked by Claire. Fantastic setup there from UEL. Patience to serve. In the net. Unfortunate. Newcastle serving. Nice pass from McKenna. Back to Claire. Tip off the block. Newcastle keeps it in play. Flings it back to their opposite. Blocked by Bree. Fantastic setup there from UEL. Claire back to serve. Nice cross-court serve. Newcastle to the outside. Oh, dug by Claire, but just a little bit too low. Both teams here going point for point. Newcastle serving. Nice pickup from Bree. Emily goes to Bree. Deep tip scores. Another point for UEL. UEL has been pretty solid here on the side out. Now they just got to make some serves. Nice. Back to the opposite. Doug. Just a little bit too much force from Newcastle's opposite there. UEL receiving once again. Nice pass from Claire. Out to McKenna. Shot down the line. Picked up by Newcastle. Newcastle goes outside, roll shot. Just a little bit too short. Newcastle serves a little bit wide, keeping the score even. Sevens here with UEL serving. You have Ava back on the line. Nice serve. Puts Newcastle out of system. High ball outside. Slowed down by Emily, but not quite picked up. Slightly out of system here. Nice swing from McKenna. Outside, roll shot. Blocked by Patience and Emily. Emily back to serve for UEL. Dumped, picked up, back to Claire, down the line for the kill. Nice serve for Emily. Puts Newcastle. They're still on that slide. Tip. Ooh. And a nice short tip earns Newcastle another point. System. Patience swings. Ooh, a little too deep. Newcastle up 1. Newcastle serve. Picked up by Bree. Nice pass on the net. Patience. Picked up. Recycled. Ooh. Ref calls 4 touches. Seems like Patience swing did not clear the net initially. Newcastle up 2. Nice pass from McKenna. Good cross-court swing from Claire. Newcastle out of system. Pipe attack. Picked up by Ava. Dump from Emily. Picked up by Newcastle. And they convert it. Timeout, UEL. We are back from the timeout. Newcastle leads 12-9 against East London. Ooh, Claire swings a bit wide there. Newcastle serving. Nice pass from McKenna. Ball to Claire, picked up by Newcastle. Going behind, good touch on the block, picked up by Bree. Emily to McKenna. Ooh, just deep. Going Newcastle serving. Picked up by Bree. Nice tip by Claire. Ooh, Newcastle goes for the dump, but sends it way too wide. McKenna serving. Nice serve. Outside tips. Picked up. McKenna gets a good swing on the ball. Newcastle to outside. Double contact. Point Newcastle. Nice pass from McKenna. Back to Claire. Down the line. Picked up by Newcastle. And blocked by Patience. Patience serving. Nice little jump serve. Dump. Picked up by Bree. Good swing by Emily. McKenna into the corner. Another point for UEL. Good serve from Patience. Newcastle to their outside. blocked but recycled. Again, tip, off the block. Point for Newcastle. UEL set up pretty well there. Just a smart move by Newcastle that earned them the point there. Newcastle serving. Nice pass from McKenna. Back to Claire. High off the block, picked up by Newcastle. Out of system, back to their opposite. Down the line. A little too much sauce. Another serve from Newcastle. Ava picked up the short pass. Back to Claire, roll shot for the kill. Miss serve from UEL. Bree picks up the serve. Emily blocks the overpass. And Newcastle cannot bring it back. Bree up to serve. Short serve for the ace. Another good serve from Bree. Back to the opposite. Cross court, picked up by Claire. McKenna high off the block for the kill. Another serve from Bree. Middle ball, out. Newcastle goes for a play that just swings too wide. Timeout, Newcastle. Back from the timeout. UEL 17, Newcastle 18 with UEL serving. Nice serve from Bree for another ace. $18-all. Short serve puts Newcastle out of system, but they still manage to put the ball away. Newcastle serve, picked up by Bree, out to McKenna, high off the block. Newcastle plays it, goes back, cross-court swing, picked up by Claire. Another swing from McKenna, covered by Ava. Pipe from Bree. Gets an overpass. Handled. Another one. Newcastle pipe. Tip. And it lands dead center. Gray picks up the serve. McKenna off the block for the kill. Ava serving for UEL. Nice cross-court serve. And Patience puts it down. Ava serving again. Nice. Be quick. Picked up, but not quite handled. Newcastle serve. Claire picks it up. Patience in the middle. Ball goes flying. Emily serving. Nice serve down the line. Newcastle goes outside. Cross court. Blocked by Claire. Timeout, Newcastle. Back from the timeout. UEL 22, Newcastle 21. Emily serving for UEL. Nice serve down the line. Newcastle goes pipe and misses wide. Another serve for Emily. Down the line again, short this time, ace! Set point here for UEL, 24-21. Emily goes cross court this time. Newcastle tries for the dump, picked up. Overpass blocked to McKenna. Through the block, finish the set. UEL takes set one, 25-21. Here we are starting set 2. UEL up 1-0 against Newcastle. There's the first whistle. Newcastle starting with the serve. Out of system. UEL keeps the ball in play. Newcastle goes there outside. Swing goes out. Ooh. Referee calls UEL in net. Serve from Newcastle. Ooh. Blocked. Patience. Serve from Newcastle. Picked up by Bree. Outside to McKenna. Off the block for the kill. Nice serve from Emily. Puts Newcastle out of system. Swing picked up. McKenna, cross-court swing for the kill. Emily back on the line to serve. Nice short serve. Newcastle out of system, sends a free ball. Picked up by Avery. McKenna through the block. Newcastle out of system. Claire with the block. Throws it back down. UEL up 3-2. Emily to serve. Newcastle goes to the slide. And they kill it down the line. Newcastle serving. Nice pass from Bree. Back to McKenna. Cross court. Dump. Picked up by Emily. Another swing from McKenna deep. Newcastle in the net. Nice serve from McKenna. Newcastle goes behind on the slide. Tip, picked up by Patience. Set to Bree, roll shot, picked up by Newcastle. Outside, cross-court kill. Thanks, Will.
Yeah, you could vote for now.
Yeah. UEL out of system. And blocked. Emily dumped for the kill. Newcastle serve. Nice pass from Bree. Back to Claire. Blocked by Newcastle. Newcastle serves way deep. Claire back to serve. Nice deep serve from Claire, puts Newcastle out of system. Free ball over, picked up by Claire, sent to the outside. Bree through the block for the kill. Tied up 7-7. Claire serving again. Short serve, Newcastle out of system. And they kill the ball down the middle. UEL out of system. High swing from Bree. Newcastle can't handle it. Nice serve down the line from Bree. Oh, off the block, kill for Newcastle. Bree picks up the serve from Newcastle. Ball goes out to McKenna. Kill. Cross court serve from Ava. Newcastle goes to the opposite, blocked by McKenna. And a cross court serve from Ava. Newcastle goes middle this time. Be quick, scores. Bree takes the pass, slide for Patience, cross court, kill. Emily serving for UEL. Nice serve, puts Newcastle's back row attacker called over the line. Attacking fault. Another serve for Emily. This time down the line. Jump from Newcastle, picked up by Claire, but not quite put over. Newcastle serving. Picked up by Bree, out of system. Patience throws it down. Outside, and through the block for Newcastle. Newcastle serving. In the net. Service error for Newcastle. Point for East London. McKenna serves down the line and just a little deep. Newcastle serves. Short serve picked up by Bree. Bree set and not picked up by Newcastle. Nice kill. Very sharp angle there. Patient serving. Jump serve to the corner, out of system for Newcastle. Picked up by McKenna, back to Claire. UEL looking for a touch, but they don't get it. Newcastle serve. Picked up by Bree. Another swing from Bree, keeps Newcastle out of system. Roll shot from Newcastle. Block slows it down too much, and it scores. Another serve for Newcastle. Ace for Newcastle. Timeout UEL. Back from the timeout. Newcastle leads 16-14 against UEL. Newcastle serving. Picked up by McKenna. Ball goes to Bree. Blocked by Newcastle. Substitution, Aaliyah in for Bree. Nice pickup. Referee calls Emily in the nets. Newcastle serving again. Aaliyah picks it up. The system. Through the block. Point for East London. Claire serving for UEL. Strong jump serve. And Newcastle scores on a tip. Leah picks up the serve, slide to Ava, down the line for the kill. Leah back to serve. Serves wide. Newcastle serving. Short serve, picked up, good pass. Back to Ava. Ooh, blocked. Leah picks up the serve. Out to McKenna. High off the block. Newcastle plays defense. Tries to put it over. Picked up by Claire. Emily pushes it out to McKenna. And she misses wide. Timeout, UEL. Back from the timeout. Newcastle leads 22-16. Leah picks up the serve. Emily with the dump for the kill. Ava serving. Newcastle back to the opposite, who cranks it for the kill. Serve picked up by Aaliyah. Out to McKenna. Through the block, picked up by Newcastle. Roll shot, picked up by Ava. Ooh. Emily misses the dump, a little bit wide. Leah picks the serve. Middle, patience. McKenna up. A little bit of chaos here. Slide. No, free ball. Outside to McKenna. High off the block. Patience tries to put it down. Overpass. Out of system for UEL. Roll shot to the corner. Newcastle pushes it to their outside. And high off the block to win the set. Newcastle and UEL are both now 1-1. And now we switch sides. We are back. This is set 3. UEL and Newcastle are tied at 1 set apiece. This is best of 5, so first team to win 3 sets wins the match. Nice serve from Ava. Newcastle tries to go to the middle. Overshot and sent the free ball out of bounds. First point goes to UEL. Ava on the line. Nice short serve. Puts Newcastle out of system. Free ball. Claire takes it. Emily pushes it to McKenna. Blocked by Newcastle. Ball off the block. Middle. Out. Newcastle serving. Leah picks up the serve. Emily puts it over. Outside. Roll shot. Picked up by Ava. Back to Claire. Smart swing. Picked up by Claire. Middle to Patience. Newcastle can handle it. Yeah, Emily serving. Nice serve. Back to the middle. Tip. Picked up by Claire. Emily out to McKenna. McKenna blocked again. Newcastle serving. Out of system. Claire with the swing, high off the block. Patience puts it down off the ricochet. Got McKenna back on the line to serve. Cross-court serve, just wide. Newcastle serving. Aaliyah picks up the serve, nice pass. And a nice deep swing. Ooh, just a little too deep. Another serve from Newcastle. This time McKenna takes the pass. The middle to Patience, slams one down. Now Patience back on the line to serve. Newcastle dump, picked up by Emily. Claire sends a dump right back. Ooh, and misses the overpass. Newcastle serving. Kind of takes the pass, overpass, out of system for Newcastle. Deep swing, picked up by Ava. Emily to Aaliyah, blocked. Nice serve for Newcastle. Way out. Claire serving. Nice, puts Newcastle out of system. Swing from pipe. Ball goes to Aaliyah. Tip. Behind. Cross court tip. Ooh. Tip in the corner scores for Newcastle. Leah picks up the serve and goes off the block deep for the kill. Side. Strong swing from Newcastle. Ava picks up the serve. Ball goes to McKenna. Tip over the block. Newcastle out of system. Goes to their opposite. Cross court swing. Blocked, but picked up. They go to their outside. Again, blocked by Emily. Ava serving. Nice serve. At least an overpass. Picked up by Newcastle. Swing deep. Emily takes second contact. Way out from Newcastle. Oh, but picked up. Out to McKenna. Newcastle keeps the ball in play. Roll shot. Picked up by Claire. Kept in play by Emily. Newcastle in system. Goes to their middle and swings out. Newcastle setter. A quick moment to tie her shoe. Now we resume. UEL 8, Newcastle 9. Ava, cross-court serve, deep in the corner, puts Newcastle out of system, and Newcastle swings out. It's like the referee called a touch on the block, so the point goes to Newcastle. Leah picks up the serve. Emily goes to McKenna, who kills the ball. UEL 9, Newcastle 10. Emily on the line to serve. Nice serve down the line. Newcastle goes to the middle. Goes and kills the slide down the line. Newcastle serving. Leah takes the serve. Emily puts a high ball to Claire. Claire pushes it deep and misses. Another serve for Newcastle. McKenna takes the serve this time. High ball to Patience. Throws it down for the kill. McKenna back to serve. Nice short serve. puts Newcastle way out of system. McKenna takes the easy ball. Patience down the middle again for another kill. Now a serve from McKenna. Newcastle out of system, goes to the opposite backcourt. Off the block, point Newcastle. Leah takes the serve. Back to Claire, down the line, picked up by McKenna. Free ball over to Newcastle. Newcastle goes middle, blocked, kept in play. Free ball over. Claire takes it. Aaliyah goes to, Emily goes to Aaliyah, blocked, right back into her. Newcastle serves, McKenna takes it. Back to Claire. Nice roll shot, sharp. Gives UEL the point. Patience back to serve. Newcastle dump, picked up. Emily goes back to Claire. Tipped short, puts Newcastle out of system. Roll shot picked up by McKenna. Back to Claire again. Misses deep. Oh, ace for Newcastle. Leah takes the serve. Ball back to Claire again. Cross-court swing for the kill. Now Claire back to serve. Nice serve from Claire, puts Newcastle out of system. Leah throws it back, and it's kept up by Newcastle. Middle ball, picked up by Newcastle. Hard swing out. Ooh. Point Newcastle. Point for UEL. Swing is out. Nice short serve. Newcastle can't put it back over the net. Claire serving again. Oh. Tries to go short on the serve. A little too short. Newcastle serving. Out wide. Bree back in, switching with Leah. Nice serve down the line. Overpass. Ava puts it down. McKenna puts it down for the point. Timeout, Newcastle. Go back from the timeout. No, tied 17-17 in the third. Bree serving for UEL. And Newcastle keeps it in play. Oh, no, it's out. That's an ace for Bree. UEL 18, Newcastle 17. Bree serving again. Nice deep serve. Another ace for Bree. Newcastle makes a substitution. Bree serving again. Short serve puts Newcastle out of system. Roll shot. UEL out of system. Free ball over. Newcastle goes back to their opposite. Tip picked up by Ava. But not kept in play. And Newcastle serving. Picked up by Bree. High ball to McKenna. Ball shot to the corner. Out of system, Newcastle. Swing deep. Picked up by Patience. Miscommunication there between Ava and Emily. Newcastle serve. Bree picks up. And we go pipe. Claire out of system for Newcastle. Tip out. UEL leads by 1. Ava serving. Nice serve puts Newcastle out of system. Deep swing. Roll shot. Well placed. Point for Newcastle. Newcastle serves. Nice pass by Claire. Out to McKenna. Just a little bit deep. Right? Live stream.
Oh, wow. You're the live stream guy. Is it like part of your major?
Back from the timeout. Newcastle leads 22-20. Out of system for UEL. Claire on the pipe. Sends it over. Newcastle out of system. High ball to the outside. Blocked by Emily. Tip picked up by McKenna. Ball to Patience. Tipped over. Pipe. Blocked by Patience. Emily serving. Nice serve down the line. Newcastle back to their middle. Hard off the block. Newcastle serving. Bree takes the pass. The ball to Claire. Side. Blocked by McKenna. McKenna serving. Newcastle back to the middle tip. Tip deep scores. Float. Bree takes the pass. Back to Claire. Off the block. Out of system for Newcastle. Tip picked up by Patience, but not high enough to keep on going. Newcastle takes set 3, 25-22. Switching sides. We are back. This is set 4. Newcastle leads 2-1. That's the first serve. Out of system for UEL. Tight ball. Can't make a move on it. Newcastle gets the first point. Short serve, picked up by Bree. Pipe. Ooh, just wide. Short serve. Ball to McKenna. Picked up by Newcastle. Newcastle goes to their outside. Cross court picked up by UEL. Free ball, good spot, and we get the point. Emily serving for UEL. Down the line, short. Nice little roll off the tape to get the ace. Nice serve down the line for Emily, puts Newcastle out of system. High ball to their outside, tip, picked up by Emily. Nice high ball by Ava to McKenna. Newcastle keeps it in play. Short tip, back to Claire. Sharp. Ooh, called out. Newcastle serving. Nice pass by Bree. Out to Claire. Blocked, picked up by Patience. Lift called on Ava. Newcastle serve. Bree takes the pass. Back to McKenna. Cross court. Newcastle dump. Picked up by Bree. Out to Claire. Sharp swing. Picked up by Newcastle. Missed connection with the middle. Newcastle is called under the net. Point goes to UEL. McKenna serving. Down the line. Newcastle to their outside. Blocked, but recycled. And put down by Patience. Another serve for McKenna. This time Newcastle's in system, goes back to the middle. And she misses inside. Nice serve from McKenna. Newcastle to their middle. Picked up. UEL in the net. 5 apiece. Newcastle serving. Out of system. High ball to Bree. Kill in the cross court. Outside, way out. UEL up 2. Patience serving. Newcastle to their outside. Out. Serve for Patience. Short. Oh, too short. Point goes to Newcastle. Nice serve from Newcastle. UEL out of system. Ball debris. Doesn't quite make it over. Newcastle serving. Picked up by Patience. Out of system. And the score equalizes 8-all. Timeout, UEL. Back from the timeout. Tied at 8 in the fourth set with Newcastle serving. Bree takes the first. Kill for Claire. Claire back in the line to serve. Newcastle back to their middle and swings out. Point for UEL. Another serve for Claire. Puts Newcastle out of system. No second contact. They just let it drop. Nope. Another serve for Claire. Spin serve this time. Newcastle out of system again. Back to their opposite, who tips down the line, picked up by Patience. Claire swings cross court for the kill. Powerful back row attack from Claire there. Timeout, Newcastle. Back from the timeout. Claire still on the line. Short serve. Newcastle back to their opposite. Cross court picked up by Claire. It looks like the ball hit the ceiling, which unfortunately is considered out. It was a great dig by Claire there. Our ceilings are a little too low. Patience take the pass. McKenna swings on the pipe. Newcastle out of system. Tip, picked up by Emily. Claire takes second contact. Pipe from McKenna, picked up by Newcastle. Newcastle goes to their outside. Cross court, picked up by McKenna. Emily to Bree. Tip down the line, picked up by Newcastle. Tip, picked up by Bree. Emily back to Claire. Oh, and just out. It's a good rally there. Newcastle serves. Patience takes the pass. Emily dumps. Throws it straight down for the kill. Bree back to serve. Serve down the line, back to the opposite. Good touch off the block, out of system. Patience roll shot over the net. Newcastle outside. In down the line. Yep. Bree takes the pass outside to McKenna. Cross court. But Newcastle slightly out of position. Not take it. Ava serving. Nice deep serve. Newcastle goes to the middle. And they go through the block. Newcastle serve, short, puts UEL out of system. Ball not kept in play. Another point for Newcastle. Newcastle serve, Emily dump. Newcastle middle, picked up by Bree. Emily goes to McKenna. Tries to recycle, but it's thrown back in her face. Four. Nice pass from Claire. Ball to McKenna through the block. Emily serving for UEL. Nice serve. Newcastle out of system. Tip on the slide. Claire throws it over, and Newcastle cannot get to it. Good pickup there by Ava and a smart play from Claire. Emily with a nice serve. Newcastle out of system. Good. Slide. UEL does not pick it up. Newcastle to serve. Bree picks it up. Outside to Claire. Nice cross-court swing picked up by Newcastle. Out of system. Outside tip down the line. Ava takes second contact. Inside ball. Claire throws it over. Picked up by Emily. UEL in the net. Bree picked McKenna with a nice swing. Gets an overpass in return and puts it away. McKenna to serve. Down the line. Newcastle out of system. Outside, good touch off the block. Claire takes second contact. McKenna on the pipe. And Newcastle cannot handle it. Another serve from McKenna here. Newcastle goes back to the middle, off the block for the point. Bree takes the serve. Back to Claire. Way cross court kill. Great swing from Claire there into the corner. Patience back to serve for UEL. Overpass, picked up by Claire. Emily goes to Bree. Off the block, picked up by Newcastle. Sent over to their outside. Blocked by Claire, picked up by Newcastle. But they can't get it all the way back over. Timeout, Newcastle. Back from the timeout here. UEL leads set 4, 20-17, with Patience serving. Nice serve from Patience, puts Newcastle out of system. And a sharp cross-court swing leads to a point for Newcastle. Newcastle serving. McKenna takes the pass. Bree goes back to Claire. Emily goes back to Claire. And off the block for the point. Claire serving for UEL. Nice serve down the line. And out of bounds. Point for UEL. Claire serving again. Nice float down the line. Newcastle out of system. High ball to their opposite. Off the block. Point for Newcastle. Newcastle serve. Bree picks up the pass. Ball to Claire. Roll shot picked up by the libero. Outside swing. Tip off the block. Point for Newcastle. Newcastle serve. Bree takes the pass. Outside ball to Bree. Blocked by Newcastle. Timeout, UEL. Back from the timeout, UEL leads 22-21 with Newcastle serving. McKenna takes the pass. Emily goes to Bree. Bree kills it in the cross court. Bree back to serve. Nice cross court serve. Newcastle goes in the middle. Ooh. It's like Patience got hit in the face. Some medical timeout here. Taking a break here while this medical timeout is going on. Right, referee calls return to play. Aaliyah subbed in for Patience. It's like just a bloody nose for Patience at the moment. But Newcastle serves. Ball goes to Claire, who puts it in the corner for the point. Newcastle makes a substitution. Ava serving. Newcastle out of system. Free ball. Emily takes it. Claire takes second ball. McKenna high off the block. And UEL takes set 4. We are going to 5, ladies and gentlemen. It's like Claire has approached the ref stand for the coin toss. There's Newcastle's captain. The serving team is decided by a coin toss here for the 5th set. Looks like UEL has the serve for set 5. For the tie-breaking set, we only play to 15. Ava to serve. Nice serve. And Newcastle pushes it deep into the corner. Newcastle serving. Bree takes the pass. Ball goes outside to Kenna. Newcastle keeps the ball in play. Cross-court swing picked up by Ava. Newcastle keeps the ball in play, goes to the middle, picked up by Bree. Emily goes to McKenna. Off the block, short, picked up by Newcastle, sent over. And then pushed right into the corner. And it looks like Patience is okay now. She's back in the front court here. Again, Bree takes the pass. Nice cover. Sent over by Patience. Back to the middle. Picked up by Claire. Emily dumps. Newcastle keeps it in play. And Patience kills the ball. Emily back to serve. Tight. Middle slide. Point Newcastle. Every point matters here in the 5th set. It's only the 15, and you switch sides at 8. When the first team gets to 8 points. Newcastle serve. Bree picks up the pass. Outside to Claire. Straight through the block. With authority. McKenna serving. Nice serve down the line. Newcastle way out of system. Free ball over. Nice pass. Go to Patience. And down. UEL and Newcastle tied at 3-3 here in the 5th. Nice serve down the line from McKenna. Newcastle goes to their outside tip. UEL keeps it in play. Overpass. And put down by Newcastle. McKenna takes the pass. Back to Claire. Down the line. Picked up by Newcastle. Out of system. High ball from their outside tip. Down. Blocked by Patience. Now Patience back to serve. Out of system for Newcastle. Roll shot down the middle, picked up by McKenna. Outside, Bree through the block, picked up by Newcastle. High ball to the outside tip. Emily takes it, Ava up, Claire over. Oh, Claire not over. Newcastle to serve. 5-4 Newcastle. Short. Oh, and it does not make it over the net. 5-5 in the 5th. Claire down the line, puts Newcastle out of system. Tip, picked up by Emily. Ava swings on the second contact. Newcastle picks it up. Cross court, picked up by McKenna, but out of bounds. Good serve from Newcastle, picked up by Bree. Sent deep. Newcastle out of system. High ball to the outside. And out. Ooh, ref calls it in. Let's see what the ref says here. Point UEL. Six in the third, in the fifth. Nice serve from Bree. Newcastle goes to their outside. Cross court dig picked up. Ball put over. Double contact. Point for Newcastle. Newcastle makes a serving substitution. Picked up by Bree. Out to McKenna. Off the block. Out of system for Newcastle. Free ball. Short. Picked up by Claire. Pipe to Bree. Just long. Side switch here. But this is not like the side switch between sets. This one is very quick. Players had to set up immediately and continue on with play. Timeout, UEL. We are back from the timeout. Newcastle 8-6 serving. Bree takes the serve. Ball to McKenna. Picked up by Newcastle. Cross court. Out. Ava to serve for UEL. 7-8 with Newcastle leading. Nice serve from Ava. Newcastle to their middle. Picked up by Bree. McKenna puts the ball up. Free ball over. Picked up by the opposite. Sent out to the outside. Roll shot blocked by Emily. And out of play. 8-8. Tied in the fifth set. Ava serving again. Nice deep serve. Ace! Another serve for Ava. This time short, picked up by the libero, thrown back, tip, picked up by Emily. Claire takes second ball. McKenna, nice high swing to the corner, picked up by the libero. Outside, swinging, good touch off the block, picked up by Bree. Emily McKenna, roll shot to the corner, picked up by Newcastle. Back to the opposite, cross-court roll, picked up by Bree. Ball to Patience, swing off the block for the kill. Timeout, Newcastle. Back from the timeout. We are in the fifth set. UEL leads 10-8 against Newcastle with Ava serving. Nice cross-court serve again from Ava. Short tip picked up. Bree takes second contact. McKenna high swing off the block, picked up by the libero. Newcastle pipe, picked up by Bree. Emily goes back to Claire. Nice swing down the line for the kill. Ava serving. Again, cross court. Newcastle back to the opposite. Picked up by Claire. Emily goes pipe to Bree. Just wide. Just long. Newcastle serves. Bree takes the first pass. Ball to Patience. Double block picked up by Emily. Sprayed a little bit far back. Timeout, UEL. Go back from the timeout. UEL leads 11-10 against Newcastle. Newcastle serving. Retakes the first pass, out of system. Emily sends the ball to the corner. Newcastle will slide. Good block by McKenna. Overpass, kept in play. Newcastle goes to their outside. Long swing, picked up by Bree. Outside to McKenna. Off the block for the kill. You can see there off to the side how excited Jeff got after that point. Nice serve from Emily. Outside. Ooh. Okay. 11-12. Newcastle down. Newcastle serving. Bree takes the first pass. Out to Claire. Hard swing. Touch on the block. McKenna serving. Nice serve down the line. Newcastle out of system, high ball to the outside, swinging hard, picked up by Ava. Nice swing from Bree. Newcastle goes to their outside. Tip. Picked up by Emily. Ava keeps it in play. Bree puts it back over. Dump. Picked up. McKenna takes second contact. Bree goes high swing in the corner. Libero picks it up. Newcastle to their outside. Swinging hard. Out. (14-11) UEL in the fifth. This is match point for UEL. Nice serve from McKenna. Setter goes behind to the middle. Block for game! UEL moves on to the semifinals for BUCS. UEL wins 3-2 in sets, 15-11 in the fifth. Let's go! All right, that's it for the women's game. Men's game will be on right after, in just a moment.